Hello and welcome to the finale of 1984, Trouble in Paradise. I am here with the jury and the final two of the season. We have Jenny and LJ. So tonight, one of the two of them will be crowned the winner of the season after 42 long days. So we are going to begin with our opening statements. LJ, as final head of household, got to choose who would go first in openings. The other person would go first in closings. LJ did choose to go first in openings. So LJ, your 7 minutes will start when you start talking. Good luck.
First off, thank you so much for all being a part of this with me. And shout out to Prod, especially Sky, of course. Shout out to Benji, my partner. I hope I'm still doing you proud. And thank you so much to my wife. She lets me play these things. She lets me make new friends. It's dinners missed and less attention paid. And I couldn't do it without her letting me. Uh, to tell you about my game, like the first part about my game was developing relationships, seeing who I vibed with, seeing who liked me. The Wet and Wild crew, all of us, the world's most dysfunctional alliance. Outside of that, Jorts for sure as well was pretty huge for me in the early going. And among all that, my relationship with Devin was pretty key to I think how I saw the game going. All of that came crashing down for me on day 14. Gabby and Shelby ate me up, spit me out, and were preparing to piss on the ashes. And I had to get things back together again. I was in a 3-hour call where my entire game was outed, and even my partner was throwing me under the bus by the end of it. I chose to find the positive in that. And being on the block with Benji, some things I was able to establish was the final three with Debbie and Jenny. I was always going to put them first after that. I was always going to honor that and always did. And after coming out of that, I still had, I think, a pretty good working relationship with Eli and Taisha. I felt safe with them, all of those people, and I wanted to continue working with them. My social game, though, it didn't stop there. And I kept it up with the people who I didn't want to, like, trying to be getting even better with the people who had, in my view, all the power. I wanted to be sure I was getting in with people who needed me. And that was the best and only way we could think that we're working together. And it wasn't a hard thing because, like, this, I think this cast was pretty easy to talk to. So I ended up with a lot of people who either had a personal or a game reason to be working with me in the middle of the game, even when I was past Benji. I didn't care if people were lying to me, if it was in the context of them wanting to work with me, because then I'm fine with that. It's all about kind of knowing which lies to forgive and not press and not care about. My idea was that competitions in this game would probably betray me. I'm not a comp person, but people would be less likely to betray me, and that's how I operated. I didn't write off people who were working against me, and I tried to get back in their good graces. I think, with one exception, we can talk about that if they want. And, I maximized my power whenever I got it. I think getting that veto power thingy that ended up doing nothing, thanks a lot, Prod, was actually great because people started reaching out to me and talking to me a lot more after that because I think everyone thought I would be the HOH next. Didn't happen. And I was able to repair, I think, a lot of relationships with people that people wouldn't have expected. Gabby and I, as soon as Shelby left, we started repairing our relationship and ended up with a very good working one by the time that she became HOH. Marissa was reaching out and filling me in more about effectively what I had been missing in the game and, her Devin, Marina, Calypso relationship that she thought she was starting to be on the outside of. And Amanda was also starting to give me information that was both right and completely unfucking expected. So being able to lock down a relationship with those four was, kind of very critical in making sure that I had people on different sides of this game who are still willing to fight to protect me. And that became the case when Calypso's HOH and Devin and Amanda, two people who I don't think are working together pretty much ever, are both fighting for me to not be a replacement nom. So by the middle of the game, I'm relying on people. I'm not relying on comps at all. If I win a comp, I'm showing my ass completely. I could not win a comp in the mid game, and that's good news because I wouldn't have, because y'all were better at me than that. Devin called my game out completely when he left. He said I was playing the middle. He said that's the most dangerous way to be, and that's 100% true. And I still think that people were not in a position to do something about it because there were bigger fish to fry. And some people just want two people ahead of them to shoot at. I wanted two sides shooting at each other the whole time, and I made sure that happened. So I think that was a big part of my game. And the time I pressed that the most was the Calypso eviction. That is a time when we broke the pattern of taking out the biggest comp threat at all times, or the biggest comp threat who's like number one wasn't HOH. It was in nobody's best interest except mine and Eli for staying in the game to get rid of Calypso that round. That was a hell of a lot of work by a hell of a lot of people, but I drove the bus on that. And I do think that that is something that set me up for an end game to have the potential to be able to have more agency, be able to choose who I wanted to go here with. And I wanted to go here with the person who was most loyal to me throughout the game. So I definitely wasn't going to try to win an HOH until Eli or Amanda was gone late game. Those were, I think, the two biggest physical threats. And I wasn't going to show my ass in terms of who I wanted to work with more. I started trying to win comps and I started failing a lot, which was, a nice humbling moment for me. But down the stretch, I do really think that I proved that, I can do enough at least to be able to get myself in this position and, take the people who I want with me. Whenever I got lucky, which was a lot, I maximized the hell out of it. And I do hope you respect what I did to get here and how I played. I do think this is a cast where a lot of people were willing to make the tough decisions, were willing to be cutthroat and explain later. And I'm in that mold. I'm going to own it. I'm not going to deny it at all. I had an absolute blast playing this with you, meeting all of you, and I had a shit ton of laughs. I know that there were laughs had at me. I also hope I, inspired a few laughs here or there. But I played this game with, 87% of the time, a smile on my face. I'm going to keep it that way throughout the rest of the night. I really, really hope. And, I desperately want to be this season's winner. I want to represent the season. I think I am a very solid, not the best, but a very solid representative of the season. I look forward to getting, fried, roasted, sauteed, and by all of you. And then hopefully a little later we can get lightly baked as well. But thank you very much. I'm really happy to own my game.
Thank you, LJ. Okay, Jenny, your 7 minutes will start when you start talking.
Okay, I just wanted to say that I am very nervous, so I'm going to go. I'm not good at speaking about myself, but I'm going to do my best. I wanted to thank production for having me, everybody on the cast. Everybody has been amazing. It's been such a fun game. And Debbie, especially, for inviting me to play the duo season. I kind of came in wanting to do kind of two things. I knew that it was a duos game, and I wanted to do as much as I could to keep Debbie and I safe and go as far as we could, but also looking at it as a singles game because ultimately only one person can win. So I kind of went in with, yes, I want to make early connections with duos, but ultimately find a few single people, especially like LJ, even before Benji went out. I knew ultimately Benji could target me down the road because I took him out in another game. So I kind of had that, and I felt good with LJ and Shelby as well. And then with the duos, I felt really good with Taisha and Eli. Debbie and I had an early connection with Devin and Marina, which was great. I mean, they are iconic players in these games. And so it was so nice to be able to kind of play with them and get as far as we could with them. But ultimately, I know Debbie knew, and I think a lot of people knew, if we want to make it to the end and win, they would have to go. So I tried to do a game where I was very social, but also totally me. Like, as I love to get to know people, I love to meet people and hear their stories. If they ask me questions, sure, but I'm more, in it to really socialize with people, but also I have one of the weirdest strategic brains. I don't know, I strategize all the time, like in any scenario. So in my head, when I play a game, I am eat, sleep, and breathing these games. And so it's just constantly going, and I'm not looking at the here and now, but I'm also looking at, how am I going to get this far? What can I do to get there? And early on, especially with Taisha, Eli, and LJ, I felt that they were in my best interest to make it as far as I could. And ultimately, Ty and LJ and I did make it all the way to the end. Towards the end, I had to kind of show a little bit more and cut a few people. So, Amanda had to go, Eli had to go, and Marissa had to go. Ultimately, it was a hard decision, but I knew they had a little, better, well-rounded game, especially winning comps where I did not win any comps. And I don't know why Big Brother, but Survivor, I'm good at comps, but Big Brother, not so much. So I definitely wanted to kind of make sure that that path, with also talking, it out with Ty and LJ, at, when we were still all in the game together. Some of the things that I did, kind of like specifically, was I would definitely tell people, oh, you can always take me out. Like when I was on the block, I never overstressed it. I went on the block 3 times as a swap for the duo twist for Debbie. One time up because they wanted to put Debbie up, but ultimately she was on vacation. I did tell her, honestly, don't swap with me. And I was willing to stay on the block because I knew I had these social connections. I knew every single vote and where every single vote was, except for the Debbie and me vote. That was a true blindside to me. I know that was the extra vote, so I cannot wait to hear who actually had the double trouble, and use that, because that will be something, it was you. Okay. I thought it was you. I was going to say, oh, was it you? Okay. Okay. I was like, I think it was Amanda. That's who I think it was, but I'm not sure. It could have been Marissa. I'm not sure. Anyways, so that'll be something I'm hoping to hear throughout this game, who had it. Lost my train of thought. So I basically knew where every vote was except for that one. That one, in that instance, I truly thought it was going to be me. And so I even told Ty and Eli, who were very close with me, that I'm pretty sure it's me, vote for me, and I'm a person that I don't hold grudges. I never do. I leave every door open. I will never close a door on anybody. And so in that moment, after I was safe, I instantly, like, we all got on a call. We talked it out. I had no hard feelings. It was never going to be anything. I didn't even bat an eye at it, because I had told them to. So that was kind of how that vote, went for me. Ultimately, I'm trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to pinpoint. I am so nervous. So I had, of course, my final 2 with my duo Debbie, and then early on, LJ, Debbie, and I had a final 3, but ultimately, kind of, I think LJ and I both bonded even closer, and we ended up kind of with a final 2. But I also always had, Ty and Eli as our closest duo for sure. I also had very good bonds and social connections with a lot of other people. It just seemed to be like Amanda. I always wanted to work with her. It just never really worked. Marissa and I definitely tried my best, but ultimately I knew if she made it at 4, she was going to win. And I wasn't positive if she would actually take me, but also I knew she would have a winning case, being a new player and have played one of the most amazing new games that I've seen. So I couldn't, risk bringing her as far as I could. In the final phases, I definitely did try to win, and I did not. I'm not the best at memory. I'm not the best at remembering when people went out and everything like that. I know, like who went out on jury in order, but I wasn't sure of like HOH or veto. And that's just not my forte. Like, you can give me a cup and ball challenge and I'll do amazing. And there wasn't very many in here. So I didn't really win anything at all, but I know it has been done in other Big Brothers. For instance, Dr. Will, I know he was not like me. He was more villainous, and I'm not a villain. And, and I was a very loyal player, but he did not win a thing, but his socializing and his strategic moves made him a winner in season 2 of Big Brother. I cannot wait for everybody's questions. I hope I'm able to answer them. I think I'm a little less stressed now, so hopefully I can get my words out. And I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you, LJ. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Okay, we will now turn it over to the jury. 9 people that you guys had a hand in evicting. So first up is going to be Marina. Marina, you can come on cam. Your 7 minutes will start when you start talking.
Hello. All right. I'm going to start with Jenny, actually. Jenny, I just want to say congratulations. I feel like you played a phenomenal game. I think that the jury is kind of a little bit, we want insight on your game. Did you play strategically? When you said you wanted to go home, vote me out, did you mean that? Did you want to go home? Or were you saying that as a strategy? I want to hear a little bit about that.
It was a little bit of both. Right away, because it was against my duo, I was ultimately like instantly like, okay, I would give this to Debbie. But ultimately, then I started thinking, I'm like, well, you know what? No, I want to be in the game. And like even LJ asked me, he's like, do you want to go home? I'm like, no, there's no way. I mean, who wants to go out? So yes, strategically, I did kind of like another, like, I'm not a threat. I'm not, like, you can take me out whenever you want me to. Nobody ended up doing that. So yes, I did use that strategically. Instantly when I was on the block with Debbie, though, I did really kind of be like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'll just kind of, because I have played a Big Brother game with Debbie. Debbie will pitch like no other in the world. And so for me, it was like, there's no way I can pitch against her. Like I'm not great at owning my stuff. I like more play we things than me things. So for me to like talk about my game is hard. So I'm trying to do my best. But yeah, so for me, that was kind of ultimately what I wanted to do. Was instantly I thought, yeah, I'll give this, to Debbie, because she'll just pitch, and I probably wouldn't have as great of a pitch. I also don't really I've never had to take deals or give deals. I didn't ask for a deal. I didn't give anybody a deal during the game. So ultimately I kind of thought, maybe Debbie was kind of making deals. And so that's kind of ultimately why I thought I was going to go out. I thought Debbie had all these other little side deals, which maybe she did not. So yeah, so it was right away, it was honest. Then it went into a more strategic move for sure.
Another question. Did you ask to go on the block more than once?
Yes, I was willing to be a pawn. Yes, I always, and I did, and I said this to a few people. I liked Tucker's style. I could never play like Tucker, but so I used the risk it for the biscuit a couple times. So yes, I was willing to go on the block because I knew I was not that much of a threat, and I knew I had the social connections to keep me here. So I was pretty confident that if I go on the block, I'm not going to go home. And I was on the block, I think 5 times total, which was insane. Oh.
I just want to say that that is crazy, but also extremely ballsy. It just shows like how much connection you did have in the game to the point where you asked to go on the block and you knew that you were going to be safe. That's extremely ballsy. And I just want to say good job. I'm going to move over to LJ.
Thank you.
I'm going to be honest. You're really going to need to work for my vote tonight. I want to start off by saying I feel like in our like one-on-one conversations, you were like always trying to like get to know me and trying to like make me think that you wanted to like have like a social relationship. How true was that?
100% legitimate. Outside of this, I really hope you are one of the people who answers my messages tomorrow morning, regardless of how you vote tonight, anything like that. Everything with you and Devin, 100% true. When it came to game, though, like I told you in the goodbye, I was locked with Jenny, and that was where my vote was going to be. Against a lot of nearly everyone else, I'm in. Like it's not even a question.
Okay, question. Do you remember either of my children's names?
I believe Rain.
Okay, that's correct. Do you know any more?
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Do you remember any of my cats' names that I spoke about so much?
I don't know any of the cats. I only know Nala. I only know Nala. I know they're all hairless,
That's
and I know
because
there
I
are
just
5 of
posted
them.
her on
I know,
Facebook.
but I know that there are 5 of them, and I know that they're all hairless. But I do not know your cat's names.
All right, I am going to do something for Jenny and LJ. I don't have very much time left. I want you both to close your eyes, and I'm going to ask you whose jury vote you think you have, and I'm going to say a name, and I want you to raise your hand if you think that you're going to have their vote. So I'm going to start off with mine. Do you think which one of you thinks you're going to have my jury vote? Raise your hand. All right, I'm going to move over to Gabby. All right, we're going to go to Devin. Calypso. Debbie. Amanda. Marissa. Eli. and Taisha. All right, you guys can open your eyes. I want to say good luck to both of you. I definitely want to say, Jenny, that I feel like a lot of the jury wants you to kind of own your game moves tonight. And LJ, like I said, I feel like you're really going to have to work for your vote tonight. So I'm excited to see what you guys have to say, the answers that you're going to produce tonight. Good luck to both of you, and may the best winner win.
Thank you, Marina. Next up will be Gabby. Gabby, your time will start when you start talking.
I'm sorry. First of all, congratulations to the both of you. I hold no resentment. I really could care less. But you guys killed it. My questions are, first of all, LJ, you said to me like pretty early on in this game, if I made it to the final two and you were in the jury, your question for me would be, what is my dog's name? Obviously, I know your dog's name is Twain. What is my cat's name?
Your cat's name is Stevie after Stevie Nicks, yo.
Okay, good job. Surprised that you knew mine and not Marina's, but that's okay.
There's so many cats. There's 5 of them.
That's okay. Kids too. That's okay. Thank you, LJ. Good game. Jenny, my question for you, first of all. Hi. I know I called you a mean girl.
I know, and I never, like I said, I felt so bad.
No, listen, I know you're a lovely person. I rescind that, but I want to offer you something right now. I want to give you so graciously a little bit of my villainous sparkle in a little jar. I'm going to pass it to you. I want you to tell me why you played the better game to LJ. Tell me all the bad parts of his game, all the good parts of yours, because I know that LJ can probably do that. I need to see that you can, so that you get my vote.
Yeah. Okay. So I think overall LJ early on, had, like he said, a lot of multiple relationships. He definitely had played the middle where I really had my core. I was willing to branch out. I was willing to keep doors open, but ultimately I was never going to stray from those specific people, Eli, Ty, even LJ, Debbie, Shelby. And you, after, of course, it was very short-lived, but after a little bit, I really did want, we had our Lulu Lovers Alliance, and I really did want that to work. For me, I feel like I was able to keep that innocence of me and that naiveness towards everybody, to make sure that I was never a threat, to make sure everybody thought, oh, you know what, she's on the block. Oh, she doesn't care if she goes home. Where I never really, of course I wanted to make it to the end. Who plays the game and doesn't want to make it to the end? Of course I want to make it to the end. And so I was willing to kind of do whatever it takes. And even like in certain votes, when you and Shelby were on the block at the time, Shelby was my person, closer. I was closer with Shelby at that time. And so I did not want to let Shelby go, but I know Devin and Marina wanted to, and so it was.
Stop you. Stop you. Good job, first of all. But, like, I need you to talk shit about LJ, like straight up. Like, I know you played a good game, Jenny. I know that LJ played a good game. Not everyone thinks that. Those are my opinions. I need you to tell me why his game is worse than yours.
Okay.
Right?
I think, from my perspective, I think LJ had a lot more alliances and options to go with. I think he did ultimately, I want to do a pro and con. He really did. Him and I really did have a good bond. So he really, and that's going to be hard because we really did have a final two. And so that is one thing. And I'm not bad. I'm not a great person at talking bad about other people, but I do feel like I would have 1,000%, just kept my loyalty, where I do think that if anything would have changed, he could have easily swayed, where I would have just stuck on that straight and narrow path. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be Jenny's version of talking shit, and
how villainous I can possibly be.
That is it for me. I don't feel the need to talk anymore. I do want to say, well, I don't feel the need to ask any more questions. I do want to say both of you played great games. I am happy with the end of this game, and I can't wait to talk to you guys outside of this game. So good job, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gabby. Next up is Devin. Devin, your time will start when you start talking.
What's up? Congratulations for making it here. Um, I'm gonna start with Jenny. Um, Sorry guys, I'm really stoned. But anyways, Jenny, so my question for you is whenever when me and you were on that call before Debbie did what she did, were you aware of what was going to happen at that time?
Yes. So part of our plan was, and that was the hardest part for me. So I'm not a good liar. I think everybody's caught on to that. So Debbie wanted me to stay on the call with you to act, and that's why we kept tagging. Remember, we kept tagging Debbie, where Debbie knew she was planning on backdooring you. So yes, so in that aspect, I was supposed to sit on the call and keep you as calm as possible without feeling, although I know you started to feel like I even remember I even said maybe Debbie's going against me. Like I didn't think that, but I had to keep that kind of facade. So yes, I felt really bad about doing that because I really don't lie much in games. I know it's hard not to lie, but in that aspect, I knew I needed to do that for Debbie. Honestly, Devin, you're an amazing player and you probably were the biggest threat in the game. So I know Debbie needed, she felt that that was going to be her big move. So yeah.
Well, I think that's great gameplay, honestly. I think in these games, it's a lot. I'll think about how a person made me feel, and in that moment, like you made me feel really good. So, even after the fact. So,
Felt so bad too because I'm like, great, I made you feel good and just to do this. So I mean, but I didn't do it. But you know what I mean. But no, thank you. Oh.
um, all right. I yield my time.
Okay. So we will move on to Calypso. Calypso, your time will start when you start talking.
All right, so obviously I want to say congratulations to both of you. I'm sad I didn't make it to the end, but I think everybody, if they didn't, when they didn't make it to the end, we're all just a little disappointed. But so first, Jenny, I want to ask you. You told me in messages that you weren't even sure if you wanted to win after the situation with Devin and Debbie going back and forth. Do you still feel like that, or has that changed since that happened?
That has definitely changed since that happened. Originally, it was just kind of one of those, like I kind of felt, it was just overwhelming to me. I'm like way over it now, obviously. Like that was like I'm a person that does not hold grudges. I never do. Like it's something that like I'm hoping I meet Devin in person sometime and give him a big hug, kind of scenario. So I'm like, I'm always about the love, so yeah. So at the time, yes, I kind of felt like, okay, do I wanna, I would never quit. I'm not a quitter. But at that time, and then I kind of like gained my momentum back of yes, I'm in it to win it, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get here. So yes.
All right. LJ, do you feel like so far you've talked enough and shown people enough that you think you can get their votes?
Honestly, right now, no. Right now, I straight up haven't been asked enough questions. I don't know if people are interested in my game or if people think they know my game, but right now, so far, I haven't. If you'd like to give me the opportunity to do that, no, I'd be very grateful for that. To draw a contrast between mine and Jenny's games, I was not willing to even consider the fact of going on the block because you know what? Roxanne thought she was going on the block as a pawn. Roxanne went home. This is not a thing that is common in Big Brother games. I do not know, everything about Big Brother. This is my first game in this forum, but I do know that the best thing you can possibly do is have enough people working with you and working to protect you that you're going to be fine no matter what happens. I also do want to explain to you why I was gunning for you so hard, because I think I owe you that explanation, because this seat is yours. All game, I was thinking, what if I magically, spontaneously combusted every time in the post merge or whatever we call it in this jury phase? You were the key beneficiary. You wanting to target me was the only time that I seriously thought I could have been in real danger. And ever since then, it was kind of critical for me to be moving towards getting you out. I respect you a hell of a lot as a player. We just didn't work together because we both had different lanes to get to this point. And a lucky HOH win or, a lucky veto, and things are looking very, very different. In terms of, explaining my game in full, I can't, I'm not going to attack Debbie. I'm not going to go after her. Debbie knows. I think everyone's been in conversations with Debbie where Debbie is Jenny. Jenny is incredibly deferential in terms of what she's saying. Okay, I'm fine. Anything can happen. This can happen. If you do that enough, you leave a vacuum for somebody who wants to say something to get their way. And I was always able to make sure that what I wanted to have happen happened in all of the situations in which there could have been a possible disagreement between any of us, because I was the one willing to step up and say, here's who should go now. It's kind of obvious. We need to put our foot down and just do this. And so that's why I think that out of the two of us, I was the one who tried to take fate into my own hands the most to make sure that this end game would be what it would be for both of us.
Yeah. I mean, do you really think I wasn't a trustworthy player?
Oh no, not at all. I just you just have to gaslight someone at sometimes, right? Like if you don't have somebody out there who everyone knows is your target, then people can't trust you. People can't work with you if they don't think that you're targeting someone who isn't them. That was very key to how I operated in the middle game. As soon as everyone kept me, they knew if I won, I was going to put up Gabby and Amanda. Less than a week later, I'm working with Gabby and Amanda very closely. But that facade is kind of what let me creep into the game and get my footing to a point where in the mid game, as soon as Devin's out, you were the only obstacle in the way of me being here. And I truly, truly, firmly believe that.
Okay. All right, Jenny.
Uh-huh.
Do you? I don't know how to phrase. I just want to see you be shady. I think
So
everybody here is just waiting to see you be shady.
I know, and I've never played a villainous role. I'm just like that person in real life. This is me. This is literally
Right.
who I am, and I can't change it. Trust me, I would love to be a villain sometime in my life, but I can't. And it's hard. Like I love everybody on this cast. I can't say a negative thing about anybody really.
Okay,
Like
then how about this? I'll ask you a question about it then. Who had your least favorite move done in this game? And what was it?
what was
What
my
move
least
did somebody do that was
Okay.
your least favorite?
When Shelby went out, because I was really close with them at the time and I wanted to make something happen with Shelby and Gabby. And so when Devin and Marina started targeting Shelby, that was when I was like, but I knew if I was going to make it any farther in the game, I needed to vote with them at the time because they were the most powerful. And, and I knew if I stuck with them and voted with them, that I would be safe, and make it as far as I could. So the Shelby one was the hardest one for me by far.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all my questions. Good luck to both of you, and we'll see who wins.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Debbie. Debbie is unable to be here, but I am going to ask the questions that she has prepared. And then I'm going to give you each 3.5 minutes to answer those questions. I'm just going to give you a 1-minute warning in the chat. She put the LJ question first, so I'm going to read the LJ question first. Okay. LJ, it's been known in the jury that Ginny was your final two since the beginning of the game. Were you planning on taking Benji out as your duo yourself eventually? Were you loyal to anyone else other than Ginny? And was Rose Petals just to keep me comfortable with you?
Yeah, so first off, not at all. Jenny was not my first number two at all. My first number two was Benji. After that, it was Devin. That's something that, if Devin and I could have ever got past the fact that we believed every lie that one person told us about the other, that could have actually been a pretty nice thing. After that, it was Jenny. So yeah, that's not the way the game happened from my perspective. Rose Petals was something I was honoring till the end, and I honestly think it would if it would have cracked this way, it would have been, I think, probably me and Debbie competing in round 3 HOH for a chance to decide who we went with to the end, and I would have been totally 100% fine with that. I was completely locked with Debbie and Jenny, and I felt especially locked because I do think I'm one of the few people in this game who had somebody else's partner feeding me information about nearly everything they were doing throughout the game before it ever happened. I think that's something that is a true testament to my social game, the fact that I didn't have a partner anymore, and yet I still had someone who was willing to even not be completely shady, not throw under the bus, but at least give me intel on their partner's inner thinking at all times. That was a big good thing for me that made me trust Jenny more, and also got me a lot of information at I think some key points in the game, including, you know, of course, when Devin was going to go up, and making sure that after Amanda took a gummy and decided to talk to Devin about the plan that was going to happen, that I could make sure that we stayed locked on Devin, that nothing changed from that point. So, you know, I think the way I worked with Jenny and how that evolved, that comes after some other relationships I had that, you know, unfortunately either got eliminated from the game or fell apart.
Okay, thank you, LJ. Now, Jenny, so proud of you, and you did what I couldn't do. The jury is wondering if you sang to vote you out over me and volunteering to go on the block was part of your strategy because you knew you were comfortable with everyone and no one would take you out as you weren't a threat. Also, did you always think I was a shield for you? In the game, you kept saying you wanted me to win, but was that part of your strategy to downplay your game and of under the radar as you were never a target? You always survived the block, so the jury wants to know if you knew you were staying every time, and that's why you felt good about swapping.
Yeah, so most of the times I did know. Shelby told me that they would take me down. Gabby told me if it tied, she would save me. So I did have a few of those that, yes, I never felt I never worried too much being on the block. Like, I mean, of course you worry a little bit. You can't not worry being on the block. But I was willing to risk it for Debbie. Debbie was definitely a shield in a way. I think she's a much better Big Brother player than I am. So I think for me, I learned a little bit from her, but I also like made sure to be true to myself. You know, I needed to play for me too. What was the other part of the shield part? Sorry, Michael.
Let me open it back up. I'm sorry. Um, she said, "Did you always think I was a shield for you? In the game, you kept saying you wanted me to win, but was that part of your strategy to downplay your game?"
Okay. So, I mean, I wanted a red duo, one of us in the end. I mean, if it could have been a duo in the end, that would have been amazing. I didn't expect that. And I know that there was probably no way to do it. So, yes, I did want Debbie to win. I wanted one of us to win. I wanted one of us, I shouldn't even say to win, to make it to final two is what I should say. So, so I would have been, I would have been just as happy if Debbie was sitting here than I am, you know, kind of scenario. So I think for that, it was more of I was trying to get our duo to the end, and but she ended up kind of being a shield because she was a little bit bigger of a threat. And so yes, she was kind of a shield, and I downplay my game because I'm kind of like this in real life. I don't have the best esteem or whatever you want to call. So for me, I'm very, you know, I'm not very good about speaking to myself. So I cheer on others. That's the best way to put it. I'm more of a team player that like to cheer on others. So having the duo game made it a little easier because it was more a we game at the time, until Debbie did get out. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jenny. So now we will move on to Amanda. Amanda, your time will start when you start talking.
Neat. I don't think there's such a thing as a bitter jury or how a jury's supposed to vote. I think we just ball and see where the chips land. Um, so I have some questions. They are not as messy as the ones I brainstormed last night, so we are in fact all losing out. Didn't write any of them down, but like I said, we ball. And I do love a captive audience. And oh, I didn't start my timer. I was planning this out very methodically. But not so much anymore. That's okay. We'll give myself 6 minutes. Thanks, Michael. So there were some like ongoing conversations this season about stuff. We talked about double trouble all season. How did the double trouble power affect your game?
Can I go first?
Sure. But keep it
it sunk
snappy.
my game. It sunk my game temporarily. Then I think I managed to throw enough shade on both yourself, not Roxanne, but like by extension Roxanne, and Gabby and Shelby, that there's a reason why the vote after I stayed, all the noms went the same way for a couple rounds. So I was able to turn that from a thing that completely sunk me and nearly ended my game into at least an opportunity for me to regain my footing. Then later in the game, it was after you told me that that Marissa was thinking of trying to explain the Roxanne vote as like an extra vote use, that I'm like, oh shit, Marissa has it. And Marissa, I think, did indeed have it at the end. So, that's how it affected my game, knowing where it was, but also turning my shit into an opportunity.
Jenny, your turn.
Okay, for me, I tried not to worry about it too much. I knew I did not have it. I did not know what it would be. I did not expect it to be an extra vote, honestly. I thought it was going to be something way bigger, like you'd automatically make it to the end, or you had to, honestly, and I did it in a confessional, was that it wouldn't be activated until every duo was gone. So I was kind of like, had no idea. But for me, it was in the back of my head always, but ultimately I didn't worry too much about it. I knew I had social connections and I knew I had, a strategic path to the end. So I wasn't uber worried about the double trouble, when it ultimately benefited me because it did save me in the me and Debbie vote, which was very unexpected.
All right. What if I told you that double trouble was not an extra vote and I had the advantage all along?
You did? I thought it was you for so
Then
long.
Marissa lied to me. That's never happened. That's never happened.
Oh my gosh, I thought it was you for so long.
I do love a captive audience and making everything about me, but I do have some messier questions.
Thank you though for saving me. I feel bad I took you out the next round.
Oh, the double trouble was not used. It was a different power you guys don't know about.
Ooh.
How did I play a better game than you? I do like making it about myself. And I think this is a fun question for my
Amanda,
7 minutes.
You are an amazing player. And that was one reason that I knew, and LJ and I both kind of talked about it at that time. You are like I think we both talked about her brain, right? Like we would love to see inside your brain. Like you have one of the most amazing, you can tell you're strategic, you're well-rounded in these games. So in my mind, yeah, you would have made it to the end, you would have won.
Yeah, I didn't just like to see inside your brain. I think I got to. I think we both got to see inside one another's, and we both kind of liked what we saw and didn't at times, because we were on a collision course, I think, in this game.
Interesting. Not final question, because I still have 3.5 minutes, allegedly. How did pre-game connections help you in this game?
Do you want to go first or want me to?
I'm happy to go first. They really didn't, because I didn't have any. I knew my partner. Beyond that, I had hosted Jenny and Debbie for I think a total of 2 days before I went to see T Swift in Amsterdam. It was fun. Hosted them for a nice challenge, but I did not think that was the stuff of a fertile potential connection. Beyond that, the way connections helped me in this game is by Benji kind of letting me know who would probably be working together, this or that. I can claim ignorance on my own, but I think I can have a pretty good idea of who might be gravitating towards one another. So I was able to benefit from my partner's knowledge on that front, while not having much on my own to go off of.
And for me, I got to very briefly meet Marina last year in December, and she was amazing. So that I knew of her. I think we played one small org together, not very long. Devin I knew of. I had never got to play with him. Benji I played with in the other Big Brother, and I took him out in the exact same time, which I felt really bad. LJ, yes, like we said, he hosted me, did a game that me and Debbie epically failed on. And then Debbie being my org, bestie. And then I knew of Taisha and Eli from Ascendance, because they both played Ascendance. And I had watched their season. So it wasn't, I don't go in usually playing because I know people. I truly like to meet new people, but it kind of worked out that the people I connected with I knew already for the most part. But also like Marissa and Chris, I did not know them, but they both live in Colorado, so we had this big bond that way. So I guess, you know, for that, but the pregame, yeah, Benji would have been the closest one next to Debbie, but you know, ultimately I knew he'd come after me if it didn't happen first.
I should have another question. I didn't write anything down though, but I'll just say, actually, wait, what is my question? LJ, how much, like on a scale of, like the jury, we know that your goodbye messages were kind of like strategic to like lay some breadcrumbs, but like, how much of your goodbye messages was pandering and how much was genuine? If you
All of
just
it,
could
100.
ballpark a percentage for us.
Okay. I would say only like 17.5% pandering, 82.5% how I feel about you.
Okay,
And yeah,
so like a 6. Interesting. I yield the rest of my time. Oh, wait. I told LJ that little piece of tea information. Jenny, we would love to see you like confidently own your shit. I'm gonna challenge you for the rest of the night to not say that you're nervous or you're not a good speaker because you're doing a pretty good job so far, and we want to see you in your power.
Thank you. Yeah, I know.
Now
I'm
I
getting
yield the
less
rest of my time. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to talk over you. Embarrassing, but I yield my time. Jenny, be your own hype woman.
Thanks, Amanda. Next up is Eli. Eli, your time will start when you start talking.
Hey y'all, it's been a minute. Congratulations to the both of you. Obviously you did what I could not. Yeah, getting right into it. My first question is for both of you, and I would love to hear a little bit about like what attracted you to choose the other person as a final two.
Okay.
Jenny, you can start.
Okay. For me, I connected with LJ early on. I had known Benji, so like, and like I said, we kind of he hosted me, so it was kind of, I knew, you know, of him. He seemed like a great guy, and just kind of like talking, and I felt like he was a loyal player as well, and I think that just kind of bonded me with him. Also, I wanted to find a non-duo that would be willing to work with me because I know ultimately it was a single, you know, only one person can win. So I needed to make sure that I had somebody, and I just had this great connection with LJ.
it was really the day of like Debbie was my first call on the day I was on the block with Benji, and she's like, you know, unless things go crazy, we're gonna be voting to keep you, so you don't even really need to talk to Jenny much. And then I think I ended up talking to Jenny for 2 hours after that, and I think I think we both saw the game kind of similarly, and also to be quite frank, I wanted to work with someone who like I thought that if a decision had to be made and I thought that, you know, that's what was the best for my game, that person would probably agree with, knowing that in most cases it's going to be best for theirs too. I think that's another thing that attracted me to Jenny, that I thought she was willing to listen. A lot of other people in this game, I didn't think that they were willing to listen or like have me as a, you know, a part of a partnership in a real sense.
Yeah, I agree, because we even would like kind of weigh, even when we had to vote you out, Eli, we got on calls, we would weigh it out, you know, like what makes the most sense every time, like every time towards the end at least when we could.
Right. Okay, got it. Thank you. Next question. Also for both of you, what was the biggest mistake that you made this game? LJ, you can start.
Okay. Yeah. Happy to lead this one. Biggest mistake, complete own goal. Telling Marina and Devin about an advantage that I knew had already been gone from the game. What fucking like, and thinking that would be a good basis on which to build trust on. I don't know what I was smoking at the time, but just like a completely unforced own goal that got people who I think had my like kind of had my best interest at heart a little bit, maybe not all the time, but like probably had my best interest at heart to not like me. And like the only thing that bailed me out after that was the fact that Benji was telling them he would put them on the block, and I obviously wouldn't. So that was just a really bad own goal. I was able to get out of it, but just stupid. Just like stupid. Why did I do it? I don't know.
And I think for me, my biggest mistake was when Debbie did put Devin up as the renom. I think I just got so into that it wasn't even like the game. I mean, it was like, I think I just like really checked out for a little bit, and that was like something that I should have never done. I should have been stronger than that. So I think for me, that's something that I want to work on is like, hey, that happens in games, and I've had other people, say stuff to me in games too, and I usually just brush it off. But I think I wanted to defend Debbie so bad. I don't know why, because I love her. But yes, I think that was my mistake of like taking that to heart, which I shouldn't have.
Got it. Okay. One more question. For both of you. Why do you think that the other person should win? And Jenny, we can start with you again.
Okay. I think LJ should win because I think LJ has played a very well game. He has been uber loyal with me. Like him and I have been working together for so long. I put as much trust as I did into Debbie and you and Taisha into LJ sorry, making sure I've heard his name right. I'm getting all confused. And so I think like that gives that, ultimate, like this was our goal. We were a final two. If Debbie was out, LJ was my final two. Even on my trust rankings, it was, way up there. So for me, I mean, he did what I wanted, and we vice versa. We listened to each other. We both, kind of weighed pros and cons. And I think ultimately, he was able to pull off a couple wins where I wasn't. So I think that's why LJ would be a better winner than me.
Thank you. LJ.
Really easy. I think a lot of times in these games, the person who is the best person wins, and that's why I'm incredibly happy losing to Jenny. If we're taking like the best, purest hearted people from this season and making a final two out of that, it's like going to be a Benji, Jenny, Roxanne, pick 2 out of 3, and that's going to be your F2. I think she's just a phenomenal human being with a phenomenal heart, and I think that's enough reason. If you think that like if you don't love my game or you have any questions about me as a human, I think you have an amazing alternative here, because she is a phenomenal person who I know we built a relationship that will continue well outside of this, and I'm very happy to have that, and I'd be honored to lose to her.
Same. I feel the same. Like that's kind of one nice thing about both of us. I think we're both happy whatever way the results go.
All right. Well, thank you guys. It was nice. I obviously worked with both of you, so it's proud of both of you, and may the best winner win. I yield the rest of my time.
Thanks.
Thank you, Eli. Next up is Marissa. Marissa, your time will start when you start talking.
Okay, so I do have a longer question that I want to get to, but I just want to ask a few quick questions first. First, I want to shout out my girl Amanda, who helped get me that far, because I haven't shouted her out yet publicly. So Alexa, play my best friend, Saweetie. And thank you, Amanda, for helping get this far and fulfilling your promise to Chris to help me get this far. R.I.P. Roxanne. Love her. And secondly, LJ, did your wife actually laugh at the insult that I gave you? Okay.
100%. Yes, that is a thing that happened.
And quick
snorted.
Okay, good. I'm flattered. Jenny, quick question for you. Did you throw comps? Because I was looking at the Pringles Ring of Fire veto comp, and you like barely had any chips stacked most of the time. So I was just curious if you threw comps at all during the game.
So I honestly, in survivor style games, like especially if they're cup and balls or some endurance, I can usually win. I'm not usually this bad. And the Pringles thing, oh my gosh, that I don't know how you did that. I still want to practice that, because that was, so I started, it fell, and then I started again, and then you were done. So it was,
Yeah. You're kids sometime, I think. So the physics problem. Okay, moving on to my longer question, and this gives you about 20 to 30 seconds per contestant about. So I'll guide you guys in order and we'll take turns going through each juror. And I want you to be a little candid and brutally honest because people have felt like you've been like too nice or pandering or not really being candid with people. So I want to go through each juror and you say where you think they messed up in their game and how that played in service to your game, if applicable. And this is just a chance for you to like be brutally honest and speak to your self-awareness of the game. So let's start with, I'll take turns and guide you. So Jenny, start talking about Gabby and you have about 20 to 30 seconds.
Okay, for Gabby, I think there was really no hope. I really did want to try to save her, and she does know that. I tried to kind of work behind the scenes to see if there was a way. There ultimately wasn't, and I did tell her that. But I think she was kind of just, unfortunately in the outs with Devin, and that was ultimately what sent her home that time.
Okay, LJ, Gabby.
Shelby and Gabby used all their social capital to try and get me out, and that was silly. That was absolutely just silly. That was not a good move. That's what sunk them. If they would have not talked that day, I probably go home and them, Benji, Amanda, and your final five. I think like that trying to get me out too hard completely sunk them.
Okay. LJ, now talk about Marina. I went slightly out of order, I realized. So
yeah. Starting to I don't know if she can help it, haha, but like I don't think you can start that hot and win that much and think that you're not going to be like the first back to, again, I don't know Big Brother, but if you start that hot, I feel like you're always at risk of that. That would be my biggest thing for Marina. Just like I know you have probably a reputation now, so you can't even do it, but like you can't start that hot or else people are going to clock you and everyone's going to be trying to backdoor.
Jenny.
Yep. And I was going to say, Marina, comp beast. I mean, that was, yep, I agree there, hot off the thing, which is good in ways, but also, when there was an opportunity for, somebody to put her on the block, everybody had to basically do it because there was probably not going to be another chance.
Okay, Jenny, talk about Devin now.
Devin, another amazing player and another one that like Debbie did, we had to basically blindside him because there was no other way of getting him out. He would have won this game.
Okay, LJ, Devin.
Believing your lies. That's honestly, that made sure that me and Devin could never work together because you did like, I told Devin, everyone's going to be trying to divide us. And I think you were successfully able to do that. I think that is in large part what, contributed to, Devin going down when he did.
Okay, LJ, talk about Calypso and where they went wrong.
This is the hardest one. They shouldn't have gone out when they did. It was a mistake from everyone to take them out when they did. So the mistake Calypso made is really everyone else's mistake, I think, in a very big way. Beyond that, I think Calypso didn't pivot as much as other people were willing to, and like know when to leap from place to place if the ship was sinking. So I'll go with that.
All right, Jenny.
Yep. For me, Calypso, I think, being a new player, I think they just did not quite grasp that whole, having to figure out how you make your next move without tanking your game, basically.
Okay, Jenny, talk about Debbie.
Debbie is goes hard and strong, and she is all in, but I think for me, it was a great, like she said, almost a shield for me that I could kind of hide behind because I wasn't going to be that bold of a player.
Gotcha. LJ, Debbie?
Very much similar hymnal. Debbie didn't make sure that she had at least as good of social relationships as her partner did. So that's both a credit to Jenny and I think Debbie's mistake.
Okay, LJ, talk about Amanda.
Amanda was way too overly focused about the idea of a forced renom because it happened before to Amanda. That was something that kept Amanda from doing the best thing possible, which is backdooring me and working with Jenny and Debbie and you and going to Final Four together. That was that slam dunk, the play you make there 1,000% of the time. Amanda was just worried about a forced renom if like Eli Ty were to win and then somebody else wins and she's the only one who could go up because she had left a game like that before. So recency bias is on Amanda is that was her flaw.
Okay, and Jenny?
For me, it was when Amanda went against Marina and waited for 2 hours and 36 minutes because that showed me how big of a threat she really was. So that was the time that I knew she needed to go at some point soon.
Okay. And I just want to correct you real quick, LJ. I think I helped a lot with facilitating pitting the house against each other on two sides. So maybe
yes,
from a free
yes.
writing issue a little bit from me. We both benefited from each other as free writers. So just to throw that out there.
Oh, no complaints there. I told you, you played the same game I wanted to, but better. So that's why we did what we did.
Prod, do I have a little extra time since some people yielded time to go through the rest? Okay. All right. Jenny, talk about Eli and where he went wrong.
So Eli, amazing player, but ultimately I just didn't know if he would be willing to take me to the end. I was sure LJ was, and I was pretty positive Taisha would, but I wasn't sure on Eli. So that was kind of ultimately the decision for me.
Okay, LJ?
I think Eli ran way too narrow of a lane. I don't think Eli had enough options. I think that was Eli's thing, like not having, I don't think Eli and Ty had a group chat with Amanda allegedly until very late in the game. Like there's just certain things where if you're not branching out enough, you're not giving yourself a chance, the best chance possible to be here.
Okay. And LJ, talk about me. Where
you shouldn't have been honest. Why didn't you just let the fucking lie stand that I was the Roxanne vote, or that Devin was also the Roxanne vote, or it could have been Marina. Just unnecessary honesty when you were the best liar in the game. That gave enough people reason to be sus of you and enough people reason to be doing like, okay, she's lying, she's winning comps, what isn't she doing? That was so. Thank you for doing that. It helped me a lot, but it's so unnecessary.
Fair enough. Okay, Jenny.
Two things, like you being the newbie and being like seriously amazing at these games. Like you need to play more. And then the other one was ultimately when you did end up saving me, which was great, but like I truly had no idea. It was a true blindside, which is not a bad thing. People like to do blindsides, but I think that was kind of the part in the game where I kind of wasn't sure if you were with me or not anymore.
That's fair. And Jenny, talk about Taisha.
Taisha, oh gosh, and that was one that was beyond my control. I would have been happy if she would have been in my place sitting here too.
So touch on that real quick. Were you playing more of LJ's game leading up to this point, or your own game?
I think no. I don't think I was playing his game. I knew that him and I had made a final 2. Taisha and Eli and Debbie and I had a final 4. So ultimately, when Debbie went out, I was more drawn towards LJ just because he was the guaranteed final 2 for me. So that was kind of why for Taisha, like I needed to stick with LJ.
Okay, LJ, talk about Taisha.
Where Ty went wrong, I honestly can't do more than she worked too late tonight and probably didn't have a chance to study as much as she could have because it came down to this. It came down to one challenge for Ty. Ty played a fucking great game. Ty did everything, deserving of being here. Just one challenge, I think, is sometimes all it can be, and that's what it was tonight.
All right, fair enough. Thank you all. Great games.
Thank you.
Okay, finally, Taisha. Taisha, when you start talking, your time will start.
I'm just kidding. All right. Hi. Okay. Before I get into my questions, LJ, you said that you're bad at comps, but it's also said that you were throwing comps. So what was it?
Oh, it was completely both. I was throwing a lot, and then as soon as I started trying, I sucked. So it was both. I came by it completely honestly. Shakiest hands in the league. I obviously did what I needed to down the stretch, but threw a lot mid game, and then did what I needed to at the end of the game. Once it becomes mental, that's more. I'm better at that than anything physical. What's the Surrey Fields? Can't beat them with these, but you can beat them with these. That's all I have.
Yeah, you blew that ball real hard out that single kid.
I blow good.
So I want to know, like throughout like tonight, it seems like you had a lot of people higher in your trust. During the game, me and Eli felt like, you had us high in your trust rankings because you kept telling us that we were like right below Benji. But like, where were we really in your trust rankings?
For me, is that for me?
Yeah.
So up until my exit, you are number 2 below Benji. There was a Shelby, a brief Shelby interlude in there before I realized they were completely fucking my life up. But you were number 2. Eli was after Devin and Marina in like number 6. Jenny and Debbie were below. After the vote, Jenny and Debbie were the first people who came to me and were like, we're definitely saving you. After that, Jenny was number 2. Debbie was number 3. You were number 4 for a long time. And Eli was number 5. You worked your way back into 3, and Debbie went down occasionally. But that's what it was for me. But you were 2 after Benji. Well, like I do the 1 as me because gotta trust yourself. But you were like number 2 after Benji for quite a while until that vote, and they just showed me, I think, that they were more willing to be out on a limb for me than you two were.
Did you feel like taking like me, Jenny towards the end, having us, but like you had an easier chance to like beat us in the end?
I think that gave me a chance of winning comps for sure. I think in terms of beating y'all, no. I think basically from any time past the merge, it's going to be an absolute dogfight no matter who you're with. So I just wanted the ability to hopefully get to be the one who say like, hey, I was the one who was able to make decisions because I won and I set the pieces in place before that so that I would be safe for long enough to win. So was that my strategy completely? Yes, and I was able to follow through on that, and I'm glad it worked. I'm glad it got me to this point.
Yes, I am too. I'm so proud. Would you say that coming into this, like you think you're the best player? Like if you feel like you deserve to win the game, do you feel like you played the best game out of everybody here? Because you got to the end of the game. So do you feel like you played the best game?
No. Feel like I played the second or third best game. But mercifully neither of those 2 people are up here. One's you and the other is Marissa. Those are the best 2 people I think that played the best games. And I'm glad I'm not up against y'all. I think of the remaining people, I've got a pretty good claim based on how I set myself up to be able to not even have to think about going up on the block and volunteering, but knowing who everyone's noms are for a hell of a lot of time and having to play the game on a bit of a harder mode because Benji left so early.
All right. And then can you say Mother Taisha real quick? Say it.
Mother Taisha.
Okay, thank you.
Girly pop.
Right. No, see, you ruined it with the girly pop. All right. And then Jenny, how did you navigate this game while being in a duo the longest? I feel like I want to see how you were able to get through this game being in a duo for so long.
And it was hard. That was a hard thing to navigate, especially early on, because Debbie had different ways and paths she wanted to take and people she wanted to work with where I had other connections. So that's where I started navigating, where I had the duo connections, but I also started finding people, more single connections and just these bonds on the side that I knew that I could keep and build and keep navigating that way towards the end. Also, like, for the duos, it was a one where, like the 4 of us, you, Eli, me, and Debbie, I wanted us to be the last standing duos, and we made it, which was amazing. Being one of the, second to last duos is very impressive, especially considering Debbie kept being a target and I had to keep going on the block for her. So I think for me, it was, being able to be there for Debbie when I knew I wouldn't be the target and putting myself up there and then getting taken down, which was great, very awesome. And then Debbie was still safe, usually didn't get renommed except for the time when Debbie and I ended up on the block together.
Okay. I feel like I've heard a lot. Obviously, I've seen y'all play, like, come on. So I guess for my final, I got 2 things. First things first, whoever can bring me back a broom first, right now.
Sorry, Trixie. It's okay, pretty girl. I love scavenger hunts. Woohoo!
I don't know. That was real close. Woo, photo finish. Okay. And then, who wants to take a shot with me?
What was
It's
it?
a shot for the finale. Before y'all do y'all big speeches, get the nerves down.
Get a shot?
Shot. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm ready. Okay. Chicky, come on. I know you're excited. You're excited, pretty
I just
girl.
want to to drink a little bit more.
Yeah. That's all. That's all, pretty girl.
Uh, all right, what is this? Batty shot o'clock.
Uh-huh. You know, sexy red. Go ahead.
All right, lead us on. Oh no, we don't have Jenny.
All right, I'm taking it.
I even got my baby solo cup. Look at how cute it is. It's a
Is
little.
that Casamigos?
Yeah, I think it's so cute. Okay, let me get my. I couldn't help but buy those. I don't know where I found them, but okay. Just a whole big thing over next to me now. Okay. Cheers.
All right, cheers.
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 All right, good job, y'all.
Thank you.
You take okay. This is your final chance to tell the jury why you should be the winner and the representative of this season. Jenny, you are going to go first, followed by LJ. You have 2 minutes for your closing statement. I'm going to give a 30-second warning in the chat. Your time will start when you start talking.
Okay. I just want to say thank you for everybody for listening. And I feel like I played the better game because I started early on with my strategic moves of making sure that I not only had duo connections, but I also had single connections because ultimately only one person can win. I also made sure to be socially very social, but loyal to the people I was loyal to and never closing a door on anybody. I feel like I knew where all the votes were, except for the one when Debbie went home over me. I was taken off the block. I was on the block 5 times, taken off the block 4. And never really, I played that under the radar, really no blood on my hands kind of game where I just, kind of sneakily made it to the end and did it without having to win a comp.
Jenny, LJ, your time will start when you start talking.
Thanks so much, y'all, for tonight. This was a high quality game. I think we all busted our ass and worked really hard to try and win. All of us had different ways of going about that. I think a lot of us in this game, it was about trying to grab numbers, trying to have people who trusted you, and trying to give people a reason why they should be trusting you at all times. I think I did a great job of making sure different groups of people who never had any intention of working together were still trusting me at all times. I think that's what differentiates my game from Jenny's a lot. I also think another key differentiator is the fact that, down the stretch, if you were working with Jenny or if you were in conversations with Jenny, you know that Jenny was deferential as hell in terms of what was happening. I was the one willing to step up and say, hey, we know Eli needs to go here if we have a chance, if we want to give ourselves the best chance of making it to the end. I was not willing to shy away from the blood that this game demands if you need to get the end. I was not willing to fly under the radar. And that's why in your end game, people like Amanda were telling Eli, no, you should be actually taking me off the block and putting LJ on. People knew what I was doing for a lot of the game, and they were still not able to stop it because of the breadth of relationships I built with people. And that was what kept me safe. I hope it is what also can get me a win. I would love to be the representative of the season. And I think I played very closely to some of the best games that were played this season. So please reward yourselves for the way you played, because I think a lot of it's in me too.
Thank you, LJ. Thank you both. Okay, after 42 days of playing this game, it all comes down to this. I am going to call the jury one at a time. When I call your name, you may give one brief statement to the final 2 without revealing who you are voting for. And then I will need you to go to your prod chat and cast your vote for a winner. You're writing down the name of who you want to win the game in your prop chat for me. We will start with our mayor of the jury, Marina.
Am I doing it in my prod chat or live?
You can say your statement, but you are not announcing your vote. Say your statement without saying who you're voting, and then you'll cast your vote.
Okay, sorry, I'm drunk. I have almost drank this whole bottle of wine, but anyways, my vote tonight is going to go to the person who I think played a more loyal game, and played the best game, personally, I think, for this season. So good luck to both of you, and may the best winner win.
Hold on,
Is it
gotta
me?
wait.
I thought my Wi-Fi glitched. I was like,
Okay, thank you, Marina. Gabby, you are up.
okay. Rar.
Thank you, Gabby. Please confirm your vote for me. Next up is Devin.
Hello, finalist. Congratulations. I am voting for the person that I want to ride on a roller coaster with.
Thank you, Devin. Next up is Calypso.
All right. Honestly, y'all both played really good once, we actually figured out what y'all were doing once y'all explained it, and everything. So congratulations to you both, and whoever wins, y'all did amazing.
Thank you, Calypso. I'm going to go grab Debbie's vote. Amanda, you are up.
I yelled my time.
Thank you, Amanda. Eli, you are up.
All I have to say is that I'm voting for the person that played the game that I wanted to play. Congrats to both of you.
Eli. Next up is Marissa.
Okay, so just to kind of piggyback off of Eli, Jenny played the game that I wanted to play, but then I was forced to play the game that LJ and I had to play. So props to you two for playing very different games and ultimately working together after the Benji vote. That is a huge accomplishment. And when people told me you were close, I didn't quite believe it. So props to you for pulling that off.
Is it me now?
I'm waiting for Marissa's vote. Hold on.
Oh, that's not
Thank
the
you,
spot.
Thank you, you're up.
My bad. I'm just honestly just voting for the person I want to vote for. I love you both. Like, work with y'all both in this game, obviously, but like, literally, like I told y'all, it's an accomplishment. I talked to both of y'all today. Y'all know where my head is at. It's love always here with me. That shot's already getting to me. Yay, okay, woo.
Okay, thank you, Taisha. Okay, I'm gonna give it just a few moments to see if any of the pre-jurors hop on. Jury, you are allowed to come on cam now, but everybody remain muted for the time being, please.
Wait, who's drinking tonight? Should we take a drink before? 3, 2, 1, cheers.
Jenny, what are you drinking? Just
I'll
curious.
take another one, Jenny. Don't worry.
I still muted.
It's just straight vanilla vodka right now.
I stay muted, please.
That's so Jenny.
Everybody mute, please.
Cheers.
Jenny, I just want to say you're uninvited from mine and Chris.
Everybody stay muted, please. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God, I'm not muted. Sorry.
Okay, let's welcome in our pre-jury. Some of them, there's 2 of them here. Okay. 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 I have the votes. These are votes for a winner. One of the 2 of you, Benji, boy. Okay. One of the 2 of you is about to become the next winner of 1984. Here we go. Takes 5 votes to win. Taisha has voted for Jenny. Marissa has voted for LJ. 1 vote Jenny, 1 vote LJ. Eli has voted for Jenny. 2 votes Jenny, 1 vote LJ. Amanda has voted for Jenny. 3 votes Jenny, 1 vote LJ. Debbie has voted for Jenny. That is 4 votes Jenny, 1 vote LJ. Calypso has voted for LJ. That is 4 votes Jenny, 2 votes LJ. Devin has voted for Jenny. Congratulations, Jenny. You are the winner of 1984 Trouble in Paradise. Just for the record, Gabby voted for Jenny and Marina voted for Jenny. So, Jenny, you won by a vote of 7-2. What do you have to say?
Oh, thank you all. Oh my gosh, you do not know how much I love to play a loyal game. I play myself. I am me. This is who I am. I cannot really be mad at anybody or mean to anybody. So, oh my gosh, to play a loyal game and make it to the end and actually win, I'm so proud. I'm very shaky. LJ, you were such a great final 2 with me, and I really thought you had this, so I'm a little shocked. Wow, thank you.
Okay, congratulations to you, Jenny. LJ, wonderful game as well. Congratulations to you on making it to the end. Taisha as well. 3rd place is nothing to scoff at all. So now we can get into a little reunion and awards. So we're going to go through some awards for the season. So let me go on screen share here. If we could try, I know you guys like to comment on the things. If we can try to keep comments to a minimum, we do have a decent amount of awards. We will have plenty of time to talk afterwards. So yeah, just let me pull up my little sheet so I have my notes. Just one moment. Here we go. Okay, the first award we have is the Best Speech Award. Zach, you are.
Alrighty, everybody. Hello, hello. Congratulations to the finalists. Congratulations to Jenny on winning. For our first award, we do have the Best Speech Award. So just going through them each quickly, we have Debbie's exit speech, Devin's exit speech, Gabby's final plea, and Roxanne's exit speech. So a lot of exit speeches were iconic this season, which I love because there's nothing worse than just a boring exit because you're already out, so you might as well say some shit on the way. Debbie's exit speech was probably the longest, which is very on brand for Debbie. It was so funny. Obviously, she was very upset and had just been blindsided, and she had canceled her plans, as we are all more than aware. And it was quite the moment. It was quite the moment, and she wanted to have hers, and she deserved it. Devin's exit speech, Devin also wanted to have his moment, though he had been having about 24 hours of a moment. And it was something else as well. He really let Debbie, or Deborah as he called her, have it on his way out, and he let his feelings be known, as always. Gabby, this is when Gabby was sitting next to Shelby and they were nominated together. And Gabby basically said, y'all better vote me the fuck out or you're going to regret it. And I'm going to raise hell on this house. And I think everyone just kind of went, yeah, yeah, whatever she says. But she sure the fuck did. So there you go. And Roxanne was short and sweet and to the point with some help from Amanda. Shout out to Amanda there. And it stirred up some feelings afterwards, absolutely. But we did decide to give this award to Roxanne's exit speech. It was so obviously just so, like, it was one of those moments where it was no longer than one sentence, but that was really all that needed to be said, and it was short, sweet, to the point. Loved it completely. I don't think anyone saw it coming.
Yeah, I live.
I saw it coming because I wrote it. But I was very worried what she would say if she got evicted. So I just gave her like a scathing remark. And she might have practiced it.
She ate.
Going in there again.
Okay. Next, we have the biggest blind side. So our nominees are Benji getting evicted, Debbie getting evicted, Devin being backdoor nominated by Debbie, and Calypso being backdoor nominated on Giraffe's HOH. So obviously these are all iconic blindsides. Benji had no idea that he was leaving. Benji had no idea that he was leaving. Him and LJ got on call right before, and they both were confident they had the numbers. Debbie obviously believed that she was staying, as everyone told Debbie that she was staying. And then I think Devin kind of expected to go up, but had been lied to all day long about his back door. And then I don't think anybody really expected anybody to actually nominate the HOH's duo partner, especially in week 2. So that was a shock to quite a few people. But we ultimately gave this award to Benji's eviction blindside. Seeing Benji and LJ go on call and both of them be so confident that they were staying, it was honestly very sad. But at the same time, this was the biggest blindside of the season, as seen by Gabby's face.
It was so funny. Well, I was really pissed, but it was like very shocking, very funny now.
Oh no, in hindsight, absolutely hilarious. Mad at
It was Gabby putting her hair up when she realized what happened. She was like,
it was
like,
Marissa being like,
she's like,
Marissa was like the
"Just ready to
blindside.
Okay.
I was ready.
So we will
Just
now move
Bob.
on to the next award.
Hello,
Okay.
hello. So now we have the most loyal. Also, just a reminder, please mute while we're talking. Just if anyone's not, just make sure you mute, just so we don't hear any background noise. But most loyal, we have Debbie, we have Calypso, and we have Roxanne. So we have Debbie here because I do think genuinely Debbie was loyal to the people that she was with. It's just it depended on who she was actually with, and I think a lot of people did not know where they stood. But from our standpoint, whoever Debbie was with, she was riding it out with them. We then had Calypso, who after Giraffes left, Calypso kind of latched on to Devin and Marina, and Calypso was like gun ho on that final 3. Like Calypso was never breaking apart from them, and Calypso always had
going to
them.
break a part of it beforehand.
Oh, Drafts, can you mute, please? Sorry. um, so Calypso always had them in their corner, and I feel like it was reciprocated throughout as well. And then we have Roxanne, where Roxanne, this is Roxanne's very first org. I feel like she came in wanting an experience. I do think she was very loyal to Amanda's opinions because Amanda is obviously experienced. Amanda's very good at these games, and Roxanne kind of was here to also complement Amanda as well as play her own game. But ultimately, we did give this award to Calypso because I do think no matter what you said to Calypso, Calypso was going to stand by what they wanted to do in this game, and Calypso was always going to stand by Devin and Marina. So that's why we decided to give this award to Calypso.
Alrighty, so now we have the most paranoid award. So Amanda is, I mean, listen, Amanda is an amazing player. Know her very well, know her style. I did not expect Amanda to be as paranoid as she was, despite having played with Amanda previously. And it got to the point where it was when Marissa was HOH at final 8, I believe it was. And at this point, it was obvious that Marissa trusted Amanda more than anybody else. And Amanda's still in her prod chat, like, oh my God, like I really hope that I'm not getting backdoored here, this and that. And it's just like, what are you talking about? This is so obviously not what's going on here. You two are clearly a duo at this point in the game. But I move on from that. Debbie, I think we all know Debbie, love Debbie. Debbie always thinks that everyone's out to get her and that her info's been leaked around the house and she doesn't know who to trust and everyone's gonna blindside her. Just classic paranoid player, even though she was in a great spot almost the entire season and really had no reason to be as paranoid as she was, but it's just in her nature and we love her for that. LJ, very similar to Debbie. Always in his prod chat, always in his confessional chat, assuming the worst, assuming he's going home, assuming that there must be some plan going on to get him out, that he's gonna get backdoored and he doesn't, there's no it was basically like every single round, LJ was in his chat saying, "There's no way I'm not a renom here. There's no way that these people are not putting me up. There's no way that I'm not going home. Oh God, this person won HOH. Worst case scenario for me." Meanwhile, LJ was nowhere near going on the block. So that was the most consistent paranoia. And with that, we did decide to give this award to LJ.
If you're always paranoid, you can never be blindsided. It's as simple as that.
Okay, next up we have the Robbed Pre-Juror Award. So first up we have Benji, who Benji was set up really well in this game. He was caught with an advantage that he did not have, got blamed for the advantage with honestly very good proof, because there was not not really anything that Benji could have done to get the advantage rumors off of him. And then you have Rissa. Obviously, Rissa's partner walked from the game and dragged Rissa down. So obviously, Rissa needs to have some mention here. Roxanne. Roxanne was robbed at least of a jury spot. Somebody could have fixed that and did not. Little shade there. And Roxanne, for her first game, for all the disadvantages that she might have had as a first time orger, killed this game. And then Shelby, in any other season, I could see Shelby in the top 5 at least. Shelby played a really good early game, but then just made a few mistakes, hyper focusing on some things that were incorrect and unfortunately got them evicted. But we ultimately did give this to Benji. Benji, I think, in most other scenarios of this cast playing a game, is in the end game. There's not much you can really say to to argue that. Yeah.
Thanks. Oh, LJ, I told you I shouldn't have thrown all those fucking comps.
I
No,
also
throwing comps is good.
I also just wanna I feel like Benji's award, like a lot of Benji's vote off was nothing to do with Benji. It was like to either weaken other people or it was to vote against other people's wishes. Like no tea, no shit. LJ, you did play great this game, but that round, a lot of it was like circled around Benji. It was like, do we want to weaken other people or do we want to help Benji be with us longer?
My literal campaign was it helps 4 people if Benji stays and it helps everyone else if Benji goes. So no argument there.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll move on to the Robbed Juror Award.
Okay, so the Rob Juror Award, I think what we went with, like debating this, is there was a lot of main characters in this game at different points of the game, and I do think all 3 of these people had contention to win the game. If any of them got to the end, I think one of them would have won. Like if Taisha made it to the end tonight, she was gonna win at Final Four. If Marissa made it to the end, she had a very strong case to win. And then Eli, I also think people are viewing Eli as a jury threat as well. All 3 of these people went out back to back to back, of course. And then just in their individual games, like Eli won a lot of comps for the orange duo, kind of securing their safety. Whereas I felt like Taisha was, very social and always strategic and kind of the brains of the operation, but they complemented each other very well. Like they always took each other's opinion into account. And then we have Marissa, who lost her duo so early on that we all thought on production that she was done in like a round or two after Chris left, to be honest. And then she picked up the game. I feel like for her first game, she definitely picked it up very quickly of what to do. And ultimately, we did give this award to Marissa because I think Marissa absolutely would have won this game if she made it to the end. I do think Marissa had a few hiccups along the way, but I do think regardless she was going to win if she made it because she had that huge underdog story.
Okay. We will move on to the next award.
Hi guys. So as the confessional queen herself, it's only fitting that I give out the best confessionals. In all honesty, I think a lot of you guys had a really, really good confessionals, but I think these four were pretty much top notch. I think all four of them gave really good insight to all of your games. I loved watching the videos. Debbie and Jenny, you guys gave us so many videos and I loved it because I don't like to read. I'm such a video girl. So it was really nice to get some videos. But yeah, ultimately we decided to give this award to Debbie.
Okay, let's move on. Kyla, this is you.
Yeah. So now we have best rivalry. And given a lot of these rivalries had other people included, we did specifically mention just to highlight the two main characters of each argument, because otherwise, the slide is going to be filled the fuck up. But initially, we have Gabby and LJ because Gabby kind of went for LJ very hard early on. And from Prod's perspective, I do think it was warranted. I do think there was valid suspicion for thinking LJ and Benji had the power, but I do think it was blown way out of proportion.
End of sentence. End of sentence. Thank
It was
you.
it was blown way out of proportion, and it was super entertaining to watch. And next we have Devin. I'm gonna say Devin and Marina and Gabby and Shelby because I think that argument as a whole it was continuous for a hot minute. And I do think it was the story arc of them being super close together and then all of a sudden, in the snap of a finger, everything crumbled. And from our perspective, it was so weird to watch because Gabby and Shelby had Devin and Marina having them at number one, and LJ and Benji having them at number one. And then in the span of one round, everything went crashing and burning. Um, and then we had Devin versus Debbie. Obviously, we saw on Devin's way out, Devin was a little chaotic toward Debbie, and Debbie and Jenny obviously felt some type of way because of it, but ultimately we did decide we were gonna give this award to Devin and Gabby because I do think ultimately they both like that narrative was ran through the entire season. People talked about it every round. And they were kind of the two main characters for the longest part of this game.
Correct. I'm always the main character, bitch.
Okay, we'll move on.
All right, worst move. And please, nobody take offense. We're not here to shit on anybody, but we're here to laugh and rejoice about all the bad things that were done that could have been otherwise. So, to start off, we're going to start with a doozy, the blue, navy, and silver duos imploding. We could talk about this forever, and this was not just one singular move. This was essentially a series of events that took three incredible duos that are filled with some of the best players that probably this series has ever had and strongest competitors, and then they all just kind of went at each other and everything blew up and here we are, and most of them ended up going out the door very shortly after that. um, Devin throwing Amanda under the bus. So this was at the final nine. This was the round that Devin was backdoored, and this was also the round that Amanda's double trouble power was expiring, which for those of you who still may not know exactly what it was, it essentially functioned as a second secret power of veto. So Amanda did have the power at any veto ceremony once she had received it, basically to use the power of veto after the initial renom was made if there was one, and then Amanda would have been safe from the renom, so which is why earlier we did mention that Amanda could have saved Roxanne because she had all that power to do so single-handedly. But I digress. This one with Devin throwing Amanda under the bus, Actually, at this point, believe it or not, Amanda's trust rankings for the final 9 for a hot minute had Devin at number 1. Amanda was looking at Devin as someone to potentially move forward with in the game, seeing that Devin was someone that she could pick up pretty easily, probably. And she was even considering using Double Trouble if he were to go on the block because she knew that that was the plan. And unfortunately, after Devin and Amanda had a really, really good conversation where it seemed like they were on the same page, um, Devin then went around and threw Amanda's name under the bus. It got back to Amanda pretty quickly, and she went, "Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's that then." And she just didn't use the power and let it expire instead. Gabby and Shelby not claiming double trouble. So Gabby and Shelby were the first ones to find that power. And then, of course, it spread like wildfire. And basically, for those, again, who may not be familiar, when double trouble was found in your production chat, you then had to decide if you were going to claim it or not. And if you were going to claim it, there was a risk to your duo, but you didn't know what that risk was. So Gabby and Shelby were going back and forth, trying to decide, should we take it? Should we not? What's the risk? Oh my God. And they tell Amanda about it. Amanda essentially swoops in there, gets the power, sees the message that says, if you claim this, there's going to be a risk to your duo. Amanda says, I don't give a fuck. And she just claims it. And next thing you know, Gabby and Shelby lost out on it. And we know what happened from there. And then finally, Marissa nomming Calypso. This could have been a move that maybe worked out in some scenarios, but in the moment, it was very obvious that this was not the move for Marissa here. Marissa 1000% should have split up one of the remaining duos, which was what her plan was coming into that round. And she really let LJ kind of take the lead on that. Essentially, LJ was extremely transparent, winning the veto and essentially telling everyone, I want to save Jenny and I want Calypso up because Calypso is kind of the only person I'm not working with. And somehow it worked, even though everyone saw right through it. And it just was not the right move in the moment for Marissa. We did give this award in the end to Blue, Navy, and Silver imploding. Again, it wasn't one specific move, but it was a whole series of events. And as you know, again, most of you are probably familiar, or many of you are probably familiar at this point. One of the key moments that really led to the true downfall of all of these duos, was when Gabby and Shelby mistakenly went to Devin and Marina in good faith, trying to tell them that, hey, everyone is telling us that Benji is staying, which was the truth. They were being told that Benji was staying. So they were actually genuinely trying to give Devin and Marina that heads up. Devin and Marina took that as basically, oh, Gabby and Shelby are trying to run this vote and they're trying to make us think that this is what's going on. But in reality, it was the truth. The truth does come out. It wasn't what it seemed to Devin and Marina. But
Okay, thank you.
after that call, everything kind of fell apart and it was never going to be repairable from there. I just
I
wanted to
feel
mention
so
that.
vindicated. Like, I just need to say, I feel so vindicated. We were in good faith. I hope you see that because everyone was acting like I was like a shitty person and a snake. It was in good faith. I wanted to work with y'all. I'm just happy this is all coming out that I was
We
right.
see it now. We see
No.
it now.
And
Listen, we all fucked up, okay? We
I
all
fucking
fucked, but we
told
see it now.
you if we took shots at each other, we'd all go out back to back and boom, 5 of the next 6. Boom.
I literally told Gabby,
And
like,
somebody didn't.
wait, it was just me and Gabby in the jury house, and everybody thought we were gonna eat each other up. For maybe 5 minutes we did, and then we were like, we fucked up. We fucked up.
I will say also on this note, no tea, no shade, but Devin immediately went to Taisha, or I think it was Devin and Marina went to Taisha and Eli, and they were like, "So is this true? Like, are y'all doing this?" And I'm pretty sure Taisha and Eli like denied it. They were like, "No, like this was not our idea." Taisha and Eli were 100% down to flip. Like they were voting LJ out until that moment.
Say like
I had already told Benji. Me and Benji had a call. I had already told Benji, listen, I'm not voting you out.
Yes, you did. Eli did. Jenny
No,
did. Gabby
no,
did.
I did not tell you that. I said I would let you
Eli's
And then you
Eli
didn't.
is very deliberate about this.
Wait,
Eli,
can I
you
just
said,
say the
I'm
most
gonna vote to
iconic
keep
thing
you
was
right
Marissa being
now,
like,
and then I'll let you know if
I
anything
was like,
changes. And we never
this is
heard
not
from
about to
you.
come back on me,
I'm very
honey.
deliberate with my
Marissa
words.
was like, the
Okay,
blind
guys.
side is
Wait, wait, wait.
blindsiding.
I
And we
need.
Okay,
used that
we'll
like
get to it, guys.
phrase the
Let's
whole
continue the
time.
awards. Let's continue the awards because I know you guys could go on and on about this, and I will let you in a little bit.
I will say that that's probably the one that everyone will talk about afterwards, so we can definitely get to it.
Okay. We're gonna move on to the best move. So first, Amanda hiding double trouble. While Amanda never used double trouble, Amanda having the knowledge of where it was and watching the house burn down around her, iconic. Very iconic. It was amazing to watch. Every single time anybody asked Amanda who she thought had double trouble, anything about it. Just watching her work and seamlessly cover herself was amazing to watch. It was iconic. I loved it. The entire bit of it. LJ getting Calypso nominated and voted out, despite it being a bad move for every other person in the game other than LJ, was also iconic. I very much did not expect Calypso to go up there. I thought it was an easy Eli Renom get the duo out clean round for Marissa. But LJ said he wanted to do it. He got it done. I think that was a good move for LJ and only LJ, because Calypso was the one person that would have taken him out. And LJ ended up in the final two. So I think that was a wonderful move. And then Taisha and Eli voting out Jenny over Marina, knowing damn well that Marina was leaving. Um, Eli and Taisha knew where the votes were going to go, and they strategically voted out Jenny, knowing that Marina was going, so that they would still be in good faith with Devin moving forward. Eli then goes and wins the HOH at Live Night, is able to prove to Devin that he's still loyal, even though he knew that Marina was going. And I think that that very much set Taisha and Eli up to not show their sides once again, which they also did by saving LJ rounds before, continuing to keep themselves in the middle and giving themselves options rather than planting themselves on one side over the other. And with that, we are giving this award to Taisha and Eli, voting out Jenny over Marina, knowing Marina was leaving. Okay, we will move on to the Social Butterfly Award.
I love this award. Yay. Okay, so I think it's says something to see that three of these people also had the best was nominated for best confessionals. I think that with each one of them, they did a phenomenal job with communicating. Whether it seemed like it was good or bad for their game, I think that they did a great job at making sure that people felt good with them. I don't know if anybody else, any of the other party members want to say individual things, but yeah, so we are giving the social butterfly to Jenny. Congratulations. Obviously, it worked well for you. Congratulations, you won.
Okay. Let's move on. The duo of the season.
Alrighty, so we have the duo of the season, and I do think that it's a really positive thing for the season to be able to have nominees up here that were not just duos that came in together. You guys really did, some of you link up with each other in ways that you might not have with even your own duos that you came in with. So I think that's a really positive thing I want to point out. Starting off, we have Debbie and Jenny. So Debbie and Jenny, I see why y'all are so close friends. You really work so well together and you match each other's energy perfectly. And it just was, obviously you guys lasted a very, very long time together. And honestly, for the majority of the season, it seemed like you guys were going to be the last duo remaining. I really thought that. And if you guys listen to our jury production cast assessment, if you will, which is something that we did at the start of the jury phase, I do believe most of us said that you guys were going to be the last duo remaining was our prediction. And you were intended on being, but obviously circumstances were different on Amanda's HOH there. But again, just really worked so well together, and it was good to see you guys playing together. LJ and Jenny, obviously that was a duo that was a very big talking point in the jury for obvious reasons. Seeing that you guys made the final two together and seeing that there was a lot of information that Jenny gave to LJ that Debbie did not know was going on, which I can't say that I saw really any other duos here, for the most part, telling information to someone else that really was affecting their partner's game. You know, it really built that trust between LJ and Jenny, and LJ, for obvious reasons, trusted Jenny more than he did Debbie, which Debbie didn't even realize this entire time that that was what was going on. So, a testament to LJ to be able to make a bond with someone like that, to get that information from Jenny, and then also a testament to Jenny's game to be willing to play that way and give information to set herself up in a better spot than Debbie was. Um, Eli and Tasha, last remaining duo, it really wasn't a surprise, even though many of us thought it would be Debbie and Jenny. If it wasn't going to be them, it was going to be you guys. You two were in such an amazing spot this entire season, right in the middle the whole time. People knew that's where you were at, but the trust that people had for both of you, not just one of you, but both of you, was really remarkable and unmatched. And you were able to maneuver every single round so perfectly. It was not a surprise at all that both of you ended up in the final five and that one of you was here on finale night. And then Marissa and Amanda, a really great duo seeing come together after you lost your original partners. Um, you know, you again, you worked so well together and it was an unexpected duo and you really linked up early on. There was a period of time where Chris and Marissa were very close to Amanda and Roxanne, and it was a really nice foursome to see come together. And then once Chris and Roxanne were gone, Marissa and Amanda realized that they needed each other very badly, but they were kind of able to run a lot of this jury through their comp wins, and it was very enjoyable to watch. We did ultimately give this award to Taisha and Eli. There's just the gameplay that y'all had together, the way you ran this house and ran circles around people without even winning that many competitions together as a duo. Obviously, you had your fair share, but still, it wasn't like you were dominating every single round with challenges. Your social game was just on point.
Taisha, I love you. Mwah.
Love you more. Yes, Orange.
Okay. And next is the Comp Beast of the Season award. This is more stats based, but we saw all four of these players doing very well at comps, not just winning them, but coming close in a lot of them as well. But ultimately, Marina is our Comp Beast of the Season. Marina has now tied the record for comps pre-jury in 5 comps. Eli also won 5 comps, but obviously Marina won them with more people competing and won them earlier. I do believe if Marina had stayed, she was on her way to match Cooper's 9 comps in a season record, if not break it. So, okay. Next, we are going to get into some prod favorites.
Can you also check production, Michael?
Yes.
Never mind, I lied.
Okay. So first up is Rachel. I don't believe Rachel is here, but I do have a write-up from Rachel. So Rachel's prod favorite is Gabby. She said, Gabby, I feel like we have been around each other for so long, but never really gotten close. And I'm so grateful that this season was the opportunity to make that happen. You were an absolute pleasure to watch. I love how you embraced your position in this game and gave zero fucks on your way out the door. I want to be you when I grow up. Love, your biggest fan.
Take that, Shelby. They were friends before this, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Next
whatever.
we have Chris. Chris in the house. Chris is in the house. Beautiful. Chris, you're up.
Okay, hello everybody. So, my prod favorite is a player who really let their social skills fly in this game and was always their true sweet self. Jenny. Jenny was amazing to watch and played such a genuine game. She really let her personality shine and had her social game set to 100, and I think it was without even realizing it, which I just truly absolutely loved. And you know, you could really see Jenny's social game shine by the fact that every single week, or pretty much every single week, Jenny was at the top of the trust rankings.
Mhm.
You.
Jake, you are up.
Hello, hello. You can hear me, correct? I'm just
Yeah.
making. Okay, perfect. So, as this is my first season on production, it's an honor that my production favorite was there for my first ever interview. Marina, I just think you are the baddest bitch. I was watching you since day one, and I just loved your assertiveness. You were always standing on business. You were never afraid to voice how you felt. You showed up in all those competitions, and no matter what, you showed up every single day and gave this game your all. And I was so proud of you watching you. And when you left, a little part of me died on the inside. I just think you are an icon through and through. And I know that we would just totally be best friends if we ever played together. So I love you. And yeah, you slayed.
Next is Sky.
The queen of the hour. Okay, so my pod favorite is somebody that I pretty much claimed very early on, and I told everybody that I would fight for this person. Mostly because I like the gameplay and I'm a very game intricate kind of person. That's why we play these games because we enjoy them, right? And I also just loved the conversations that were being had in the prod chats and just how funny they were. So my prod favorite is none other than LJ himself.
I think
Fucking
LJ
game
actually
over.
just won the game for himself right there. I think that was the real prize LJ wanted. We all know it.
Period.
Hey, everyone plays for the position they deserve, right? This
Right,
is
right.
all I wanted. Thank you so much, Sky. This is all
You
I
ate
wanted.
it. You ate it.
Next is Tyler.
Okay, so my proud favorite this season, I also want to preface, this is probably my favorite season that I've been here for. I think this game was super fluid. I think there was a lot of drama, and I love watching drama when I'm hosting. I'm no tea, no shade. And I think this person was at the center of a lot of drama, and I just loved watching them. So my pod favorite is gonna be Devin. Devin's my pod favorite for the season. I think Devin caused drama every single round, given a lot of rounds people were not feeling the energy, and sometimes I was like whispering to myself, like, Devin, pipe it down a little bit. But I do think a lot of the drama would not have started without you in this game, and I do think it made this season what it is now.
Next is Dak.
Alrighty. So my prod favorite is somebody that preseason I was so ready to watch them. I was so ready to see. They were my favorite interview by far, and they did not disappoint. I didn't know how the game was going to go for them. I didn't really know what to expect, and things were pretty rocky at the start, and I was getting a little bit nervous, but the way that this person really turned things around blew me away. I'm going to just say it. I gave my award to Marissa. I absolutely loved, love, love, love. I mean, I always love watching a newbie. I always love watching somebody who I don't know, who doesn't know the games, like who's never played them before. I'm always rooting for the underdog like that. And Marissa had all of that. Obviously, this is her first game. She was really put in an underdog position and this kind of villainous side in a way, but not really because it was this underdog kind of scraping along, having to do what I had to do, but willing to lie, throw votes, do whatever was needed. But it wasn't in a villainous way because she had nowhere else to turn to. It was really all she could do to kind of get this footing. And she got there, started winning those comms. And I think fully, if you didn't go at 4, you had such a great chance of winning final HOH, getting yourself here. And I really think that this jury would have awarded you with the win. So almost winning your first game, bravo to you. And I really just loved watching you.
Okay. And the most important one, of course, my prod favorite this season is Shelby. Shelby, I loved watching you from your interview until you were unfortunately evicted pre-jury. You handled yourself with grace and knew when to step back. You also weren't afraid to make big moves early on, as we saw you nominate Calypso on Giraffe's HOH. Obviously, no offense to Giraffes or Calypso here, but seeing that play out was iconic nonetheless. Um, yeah, I enjoyed getting to hear your insight on the game, and I found myself always wanting to hop on your calls. Despite your early exit, it was a pleasure getting to see you play this game.
Thank you, Michael. For the record, I didn't want to win round 2 HOH. Love you.
Okay. And now we've got what we call the Big Three awards. First up is Hero of the Season.
Alrighty, so I'm back with Hero of the Season. So, what makes a hero? It's something that's kind of hard to define, but I think that there were a lot of people in this season who show their villainous sides at different points. Even the people here nominated had their villainous moments 1000%. But I think at the end of the day, I think it comes down to the intention and the connections that you make, and of course the position that you're in. So starting from left to right, we have Jenny. We've talked about it. We all know Jenny is just such a genuine beam of light, and you got that vibe from her. And so despite the sneakiness that she may or may not own herself, we saw it, and we respect it. But truly, she was a hero playing this game, and because you can't, if you're Jenny, you can't be anything other than that. You really just can't. It's just, she is that type of person. Marissa, as I said, despite throwing votes and lying left and right and having those villainous moments, she was an underdog through and through, and she was just that rootable person that she lost her duo, her partner first, after the first twist of the season ended. And from there on out, she was kind of in the bottom, trying to scrape along and get to the end of the game by any means necessary. And you couldn't help but root for her amongst the sea of other villains. Roxanne, I mean, we love Roxanne over here. Absolute hero. Again, just doing the best she could to scrape along and build some connections the best that she could. And she was able to form some really solid bonds with people like Chris and Marissa and others as well. And trying her best in her first ever game. It was just wonderful watching her, and you couldn't help but root for her. And Shelby, again, just another person who is just so down to earth and genuine in every way that we saw. And despite winning HOHs and having to nominate people, really just genuinely feeling badly about it. We all watch the shows, we all see it. It's like, how do you feel badly about going against people? That's what you have to do. That's the name of the game. But with Shelby, there's that genuine aspect because Shelby is just such a kind-hearted person, and it came through. It really, really did, round after round. And so when Shelby's winning these HOHs and getting upset about having to nominate people, I understood. I felt it. I was sitting on those calls and listening to the logic and why it was so upsetting. And I got it in a way that I potentially haven't in previous games. In any case, though, we did decide to give the hero of the entire season to Marissa.
Yay!
With peace and love, shocked face.
You all know if this was an edited show, Marissa is the hero in that edited show.
I will say there was not a lot of heroes in this game. No,
No.
tea shade. I think Marissa had her moments where like she was lying to people, but overall she just gives the like energy of a hero.
Okay. On the flip side, the villain of the season.
Well, coming from a villain himself, I'll be presenting villain of the season. So first we have Devin. I don't even think I need an explanation. I think Devin, had his fair share of enemies in this game. He had his fair share of fights, and I loved watching every second of it. And next we have Gabby, where it was kind of like on the flip side of it. And normally when people are fighting, you would have like a villain fighting with a hero or something like that. I don't think Gabby was a hero in the sense fighting with Devin. I think they were both straight up villains, and I loved watching both of them go at it. Um, Next we have Calypso. I think Calypso was more like in the background, but Calypso definitely piped in when they wanted to. And Eclipsa definitely tried to stir the pot a little bit on a few of these house calls. And then Marina, as Jake already said, you're just a badass bitch. You're gonna speak your opinion no matter what. And that may make you a villain. Um, and I think it does most of the time. But ultimately, we decided to give this award to Devin. Devin, you're a villain, baby. You know it. But congratulations.
Okay, and finally, the player of the season. So obviously, Jenny, the winner of the season. Jenny played up that social game. Jenny was willing to go on the block, knowing damn well she was not going home. Pretty much every time that she went up, she was willing to swap with her partner whenever she needed to. Jenny put herself in a position where she was not really ever in any much or in any danger. She turned on people that she needed to. Yeah, LJ, also a great game from LJ. We saw LJ lose his partner very early in the game and be in a really rough spot, but be able to turn it around and make it all the way to the final two. Specifically, the move that we talked about for best move with getting Calypso up. I was honestly stunned that that worked. And then you have Marissa, who also lost her partner very early in the game. Was able to turn it around after most everybody was going to evict her had Chris not said that he wanted to quit. Marissa was likely going there, and to see Marissa turn it around and make it all the way to the final four was incredible. And then Taisha. Taisha wasn't really in any danger ever. She was positioned that even if she went on the block next to Eli, Eli was going to be the one to go home. And Taisha was very much set up to have won this game tonight had she won final HOH. For those of you who did not see, Taisha got on with the jury and they all were very upset to see Taisha joining them as they were all big Taisha fans. With this, our player of the season is Taisha. Congratulations to you. I don't know if anybody else has anything to say on that.
I will say Taisha never won a single competition this entire season, and I think that shows more than it doesn't, in my opinion, because since the beginning of the game, everyone's been talking about how Taisha's a big threat, and nobody took care of it. Nobody did anything to Taisha in this game, and I think in a lot of votes this season, Taisha and Eli were crucial votes that they just set themselves up the best way they could every single time they had the opportunity.
I got those Oreos on my hand. Yeah.
Unfortunately, in the
Taisha won the
1984
comp.
comp, it does not count as a full comp win, but you did do that. You did do that. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
that is our awards. I know some of you are probably a little interested about our episode quotes. So just give me 1 second and I will pull those up. I'm gonna go through just a couple little things that you guys might be interested in before we get too far into the night. So we did do episode quotes for every round. Some of you got multiple, some of you got none. We just kind of picked what worked best every week, what was funny. So round one was we can't make deals with everyone. That was Marina. Round two was I have been ghosted by my own mother. That was Amanda. Round three was I'm not afraid of standing on business. That was Benji. Round four was you little bugger. That was Roxanne. Round five was you just signed my death warrant. That was LJ. Round six was
Wait,
I'm a snake
Michael,
cunt. That
Michael,
was
do you want to
Gabby.
add context to these episode titles? Do you want to put them in context for them?
I mean, we can if we want
I
to.
think I think most of them are pretty interesting because the reason we chose a lot of them were because of the context behind them.
Okay,
If
so
you want to explain it, I can.
let's go back. I don't know if I know the full context of round one. If you want to add that, Zach.
Yeah, I mean that was obviously Marina was the one of the first head of households, sharing that with Benji, and obviously with half the options because than what you would usually have in, you know, a normal head of household. Marina had a lot of people that she was trying to keep safe, and then of course she was trying to go along with what Devin wanted, and Devin had people that he wanted to keep safe that Marina didn't really care about. So in the end, Marina kind of said that in an exasperated moment with Devin where they were talking, and you know, if she kept everyone safe she wanted safe, and he kept everyone safe he wanted safe, there would have been no one left to nominate. So that's why she said we can't make deals with everyone.
Okay. So then round two was I have been ghosted by my own mother from Amanda. Amanda was pretty upset after the HOH because Roxanne did not answer anything in that HOH, and Amanda was not happy about that and kind of went off on Roxanne about it. And then Roxanne chose just to not speak to her daughter for a little bit. And so Amanda was very much complaining in her prod chat about that, saying that she has, in fact, been ghosted by her own mother.
She knew I was mad at her. She knew I was so mad.
Okay, and then round three, I'm not afraid of standing on business from Benji. So this was in context of evicting Chris over Marissa when Chris asked to go home. Obviously, there's a little more context now.
Chris, could you have just left fucking 6 hours earlier? Chris, could you have left 6 hours earlier?
With a little bit of context, Chris did.
What happened?
It was a technical, I thought it was.
No, because why was I so